in facilitating recovery from most traumatic experiences, which we cannot address by simply giving knowledge or information or intellectual answers to people who are asking why, or why me, why did this happen to us, or what will happen now, will this happen again. That process has to be not only something that you can analyze intellectually, but also has to be felt emotionally, expressed emotionally.
Sa kung saan tayo nanggaling. Kaya kung may mga nangyayari sa paligid natin, hindi natin maaalis na yung ating pinanggagalingan ng karanasan ay nagkukulay sa interpretasyon natin sa nakikita natin.
My presence here in Tacloban started with a request of UP Visayas faculty here in Tacloban, who, being survivors, needed very much someone who could process their experience and eventually help them regain their sense of empowerment and their ability to help others. With this experience of providing psychosocial processing to the faculty, and not only the faculty, but a group coming from different sectors such as the church, the NGOs, who have been working in partnership with University of the Philippines, I was introduced to the community of San Jose, where some faculty members, with the assistance of the National Commission on Culture and the Arts, have been doing an intervention, culture-based intervention for the youth they call Dayaw in San Jose. Because of this opportunity, I was able to talk to mostly women there in San Jose, and I saw the stark difference between the attention being given to physical needs versus emotional needs. To think that San Jose, I would consider to be the worst hit barangay or district here in Tacloban. A Citizens Network for Psychosocial Response was eventually engaged by the Department of Health to train first responders of the DSWD and the DOH in dealing with situations of armed conflict. So we continued to refine the so-called template of this. But the culminating experience actually was Yolanda, where we were honored to have been requested by the National Commission on Culture and the Arts to augment or strengthen their arts therapy approaches with mental health and psychosocial support input. It turns out our experience with PETA, including Museo Pambata and other artist groups, became very beneficial in eventually seeing through the different activities we conducted in the Yolanda affected areas, and we were able to cover no less than 7 provinces in the past in the first 10 months after Yolanda. And now, through the support of a small grant from the WHO, a 3-month project where we won the bid for a call for proposal to develop a training model for first responders.
Kaya, hawak kamay na ngayon.
Okay, ganda na sinasabi ni Nanay. Pero ano po kaya ang pwede natin gawin? O paano po, maaaring siguro ang pwedeng mangyari ay mabago yung pagtingin natin dun sa naranasan natin. Para bumalik yung, para makita natin siya sa ibang lente. Sa ibang perspective.
Nanalo ka sa loto. At ibabalita mo kay Crisel na nanalo ka sa loto. Ha? Ready? And go! Crisel!
Wala pang pumapasok doon ng halimbawa yung mag-aano ng psychosocial sa mga taong nasalanta. Kasi yung dinaanan lang namin na proseso is kung paano kami pipila ng relief at saka kung kailan kami mabibigyan ng first chance sa temporary shelter at saka kung kailan kami bibigyan ng kabuuan ng permanent relocation.
Yung karamihan po ng mga kabayan ng mga babae, yung vending at saka sari-sari store.
Enjoy kami. Enjoy lagi kasi lagi kami masaya doon. Kumbaga, pagkakataon namin yun. Pagkakataon namin na matutunan yung mga paano mag-organisa, paano bumuo ng grupo. Tsaka chance din namin yun na kahit paano lumuwag pakiramdam namin.
I-apply o gamitin yung mga natutunan natin sa komunikasyon, sa pagkikipag-usap, sa NHBSS, na natutunan natin mula doon. So, isa-isahin po natin sila.
What is essential in this kind of intervention for first responders is the assumption that they are survivors themselves. Therefore, before you can give them any kind of training, knowledge and skills for helping others, you will have to address their needs first. So the first thing we go through is a psychosocial processing, which means that our activities are designed for these first responders as survivors to express or be able to talk about the impact of the calamity or the adverse event, and see that from the point of view of the emotions, feelings, the thoughts, and even the behavior which resulted from such an experience, and for them to be able to understand how that impacts on 4 dimensions. We call bilog ng buhay, which is on one's loob, that is his inner world, thoughts and feelings, as well as how it impacts on the relationships. And in our Filipino psychology, we refer to it as kapwa, because it is the self in the other. It is our identity in the other. It's not solely simply called a relationship, because so much of our personhood is connected to how other people relate with us and how we relate to them. The third dimension or aspect is how the adverse event impacted on one's sense of control, sense of empowerment, to what degree the individual was able to cope with the severe impact of that experience. What were his resources that remained intact? What were the external sources of control or strength that he got from family, from groups, as well as from his faith? Survivors, as their immediate reaction, would tend to see themselves as completely helpless victims, completely powerless. So the fourth dimension of this Filipino psychology concept of bilog ng buhay is the impact of that experience of a calamity or a health emergency in terms of the meaning that one ascribes to such an experience. How does it alter the person's worldview? To what extent does the experience move him from a positive, hopeful view of a world towards a very negative, hopeless view of that world? To what extent can he see an alternative way of looking at the same thing? So if you're able to process survivors along these four dimensions, then you stand to have a better opportunity to shape their thinking, their feeling, even behavior towards a more positive outlook. And only then can you really start thinking of providing them skills and knowledge to help others. If you do not give them that opportunity to heal themselves, how can they heal others? So this is one prerequisite we have learned to require when we're doing training. And this is with the assumption that almost every Filipino can probably be called a survivor, right?